Our first question to Dr. Omer Atilla Ergi. Some people claim that the discovery of Göbekli Tepe, 12,000-year-old civilization, disproves religion that believe human societies have been around for 7,000 years.
Okay, that's quite a common question, especially these days. People keep on asking these questions. The question is this. They are arguing that Göbekli Tepe, which is a site discovered in Turkey, it's about 12,500 years old. And they're arguing that religions claim that humanity has been around for 7,000 years. And this site is a civilization, oldest civilization, which was discovered about 12,000 years ago. And they're saying this refutes the religious claims which humanity has been around for 7,000 years. So what is the answer to this? Well, first of all, let me say this. Such question or such argument, such claim does not really refute Islamic teachings. It has no refutation to Islamic teachings because you will not find anywhere in the Quran or in an authentic hadith the argument of, the earth or the humanity has been around for 7,000 years. There's no such a thing, such argument in the Quran. So this invalidates the argument from that perspective. In fact, if we look at the noble prophets, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, his hadith, in one hadith, the noble messenger of Allah says that God has sent throughout history about 124,000 prophets. And when we look at the historical context of the prophets, we see that some prophets have come at the same time, in the same era, but there are also prophets that have about 600 years between them. Like, for example, Jesus and Prophet Muhammad has about 600 years between them. So if we sort of average it out, 124,000 prophets, and let us say every 2 years a prophet came, a prophet was sent, the equation would be about 300,000 years anyway. So it would be, not logical to assume that the earth has been around for 7,000 years. And as I said, there's no such a claim in Islam. You won't find any verses in the Quran. You won't find any authentic hadith, indicating to 7,000 years. Where this comes from, the idea of 7,000 years, where it comes from is some of the Christian scholars and Jewish scholars as well, based on some verses in the Torah and the Bible, which indicates that the earth, the universe, I should say, was created in 6 days. And this verse is also mentioned in the Quran as well. They sort of came up with the calculation. These are the classical scholars, and they sort of came up with the calculation that each day represents 1,000 years. So it has been just over 6,000 years, and the entire lifespan of humanity will be about 7,000 years. And this is where the idea comes from. It is just an interpretation, but there is no verse. Also, I can tell you this, I haven't come across any verse in the Bible or in Torah either. And as I said, you won't find it in the Quran or in the authentic hadith. But the idea of the 6-day creation, I remember watching one video between, I think, Mehdi Hassan and Richard Dawkins. As you know, he's one of the most famous atheists in the world. And Richard Dawkins was also asking Mehdi Hassan if he believed in the 6-day creation. And he was asking it as, with a manner, with an attitude that it was nonsensical. That is because, perhaps he hasn't taken the time. If he took only 10 minutes and did a little research on the Quran where these verses appear, he would realize the term yawm or ayyamin used in that term, 6 days. It is not really an earth day. It's not 24-hourly day, because if you look at the etymology of the term, you will see that it means era, an epoch, or a time period, equal time periods, or stages. it has many meanings, these words. It would be, really illogical to claim that it is Earth days anyway, because the universe was created long before Earth was created. So you cannot fit it into 24-hourly days. There is also indication of this in the Quran, chapter Ma'arij, verse 4, which states that angels and the Spirit ascend to him, to God, in a day which is, according to your days, 50,000 years. So we can see the relativity there, and we can see the indications, very clear indication there of Albert Einstein's special relativity theory, or the principle. It's very clear because it's based on the speed of velocity of light, this principle of Einstein. And also the principle states that the faster you travel, the slower time goes. And the Quranic verse clearly indicates a scientific fact here, which states that when angels travel close to the speed of light, time slows down for them. A day for them is like 50,000 years for us. So you can see that you cannot use that 6-day creation as a 24-hourly earthly days. In fact, I remember a few years ago, I made a calculation on this, and I stumbled on something very interesting. And I looked at the creation of the universe since the Big Bang. It has been 13.8 billion years. And I sort of divided into 6 stages, as the Quran states. 6 stages. And it turned out to be each day representing 2.3 billion years. Because if you divide 13.8 billion years into 6 stages, each stage represents 2.3 billion years. Now, how does this prove the Quran? We look at another verse in the Quran, which states that the earth itself was created in 2 days or 2 stages. Now, if you add 2.3 billion and 2.3 billion years, what is the thing? 4.6 billion years. And that's what science says. The earth has been around for 4.6 billion years, approximately. So this is what we should really understand from the 6 stages of creation. Therefore, the classical scholars may have got it wrong, and particularly perhaps the Christian and Jewish scholars, and by saying that, each day represents 1,000 years, therefore the humanity has been around for 7,000 years. And this is not really, applicable to Islamic teachings anyway. As I mentioned before, there's nothing in the Quran about it, 7,000 years, and there's nothing in the authentic hadith. In fact, if we look at it from a scientific perspective, we know that, the paleontologists tell us that, human beings, Homo sapiens, have been around for about 300,000 years. In fact, if we consider, the bones or the fossils that they find of species like Homo heidelbergensis, which goes all the way back to 800,000 years. When I look at these fossils, and how they describe them, it seems like they are humans as well. They are some type of humans as well. In fact, we have evidence that they used to make fire. They used to catch fish and cook it on fire. So there is no contradiction with Islamic teachings, as I said, with the prophetic hadith of 124,000 prophets being sent to humanity, and the time period of, how long human beings have been around. So there is no contradiction there.